Now.
Lose your voice for?
No.
Have you had a problem with cell phones today? Huh?
Oh,
Maybe we do. I said had.
Maybe
Oh,
yeah, we do.
I get what you're saying.
Because we were on our phones yesterday, that's why.
Were we? I wasn't.
Dark.
Sam.
No, Sam wasn't on anybody's phone.
Later.
I don't have a phone.
Class
Are you grounded again, Bryce?
Don't have a, yeah, I got grounded.
Oh, you had Carlos.
I haven't had my phone for like 2 days. So you can't blame me.
Hey,
That's a
make your
lie.
homework and your book. Make sure your homework and book.
Giddy, giddy, young ba. Giddy, giddy, young ba. Oh no. Don't work. Tres. Salena. I don't even remember my character.
Hey.
I honestly want to see what his grade is.
Why'd they all just leave?
He literally just walks around.
I don't have a book.
Honestly, he's probably in a wheelchair because he never really did nothing except for
Wait, pacing.
he paces around, otherwise he'd be on the ground.
Yeah. So he tries to buy grenades when he's in stuff. Buys grenades off the internet.
Anna Ackenberger.
Can we get a book?
Nope.
Yes.
All right. So once everyone gets back, we'll get started here. I'm going to hand out the practice test. We're not going to actually work on the practice test today. We're going to start reviewing it Monday and Tuesday. Does that make sense? So the test will be actually like next Wednesday. So I'm pushing it back. We'll discuss. So, hang on. No idea. If you're borrowing a book from me, make sure you get them back before you leave. I think a lot of books don't be missing.
I don't know why anyone would need to take the book.
I don't know either. Especially when it's online version. It's always a good choice. Go a little bit. It shows how you're going to slide. Okay. Okay, hey, does everyone have a practice guide in front of them? It's coming back for this front row here. Did you read another one?
For Los Tetos.
Okay, anyone else need one? We're gonna push the test to Wednesday next week. Here's the reason why. I do want to kind of review the homework I gave you. This does take time. I know it does. So we're gonna look at an example or two today of that homework, so you know kind of what you're doing. Kind of give you some hints and tricks what you need to look at if you don't know how to do a certain particular problem. I'll leave some of the examples on the board. But homework is going to be due Monday. So I don't know if I gave that date up to the sub that was here yesterday.
Yeah.
It's due Monday, so that's your due date. So keep that in mind. Now, you notice on the board, I put a little instruction. No cell phones. All I had all over yesterday's notes from the sub was that half the class is on cell phones not working. That pisses me off. Because you shouldn't be on a phone anyway. Not in this room. You guys know the rules. Okay, so if that happens again, I can easily change that due date to today and just put zeros if you don't turn it in. So don't do that ever again. Don't take advantage of the sub. That does not make me happy. So no cell phones. Put them away. If I see them, I'm going to take them and you don't get it back. So, ever for me. So you've been forewarned. All right. So to kind of give you a heads up on this homework, page 141. 23 through 26, you're doing simple geometry proofs. They have some algebra in them. You're solving them. Now, if you go back and watch the PowerPoint or some of the notes we did on Friday last week and Monday this week, I did 2 of those problems. I did numbers 26 and number 24 in class as one of our PowerPoint slides. Like I did the entire proof for you. So those, I gave you 2 of those. We talked about number 20, I think it was 25 in class, like on the PowerPoint, but I never formally wrote out all the steps to it. We just talked about it out loud. Okay? So if you go back and watch those videos, you have that homework, or if you have the notes, you already have it done. So that's just a heads up. Some people don't realize that. I actually didn't want a homework run for you. Okay, page 147. I did number 2 for you on Tuesday this week. So it's in that video. It's on the PowerPoint. I did number 2 for you. I'm going to do number 1 right now. So you get number 1 from page 147. That way you can get kind of a feel for how this is supposed to work.
I thought it was 149.
147.
Oh, yeah.
Do 147?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going crazy up and I'm like, oh, where's 149? All right, so 147. Let's try about number 1. I'm going to try to do this off of memory. If you need to correct me, please do. All right, so page 147, number 1. It starts with something like LK is congruent to NM. This is our given. And another part of the given that they provide to us is that KJ is congruent to MJ. And what we need to prove is that LJ is congruent to NJ. And is that correct? Is that your problem number 1? Maybe let's look. Those letters in the right order? Okay, all right, good. I'm trying to go off of memory here. All right. Now the picture was something about a triangle. Something like where this is N up here. This is M. This is J. This is K, and this is L. Okay, so this is our set. We had to, I think on problem number 1, you just had to fill in the blanks, correct? There was like, the proof was given to you, you just had to fill in the blanks for it. I'm going to do the entire proof, just so you can see how it's done, and then you can fill in the blanks with whatever you need to fill in. Okay, so I'm going to do the entire proof right now for you, so you can see, like, this is like the way to do it. Okay, so how do we always start a proof?
You prove
Yeah, well, we have to start a proof with the given, right? We start with what we need. Well, we're given these 2 pieces of information. So LK is congruent to NM, and what does that mean where they're congruent? Means this. LK and NM are the same. Okay, so they have the little marker on them. Okay, and the other thing that they provide for us is KJ is congruent to MJ. And the reason, given. Now, it's given because that's what they provided us. It was literally just, they told you that in the very beginning. So you have to start with the given. Now, this second line, KJ, that is this piece, that is congruent to MJ. Notice I use a different marker. These 2 are different sizes than these 2, so I have to use a different style marker for that to show that. Okay, does everyone understand step 1? Okay, so I just marked it on the picture, you know, I had my line 1. All you were supposed to do, I think, was fill in certain numbers, like A, B, C's, or D's, and just fill in the property name or the math. I think on this one you had to fill in given, I think. Okay? Line number 2. We have to redefine what these things are. What does this little congruency symbol mean? Yeah, they're equal. That's what we should write. LK is equal to NM. And KJ is equal to MJ. And that's actually what that's what actually that marker means over there. When I have those similar markers, it means they're equal in size. Okay, bless you. Line number 2, that is the definition of congruent. I believe the book says like congruent segments, whatever. It's the same thing. Definition of congruent. Okay, we're good with the line number 2. What that means, right? All right, now here comes the goofy line. This is the line that it's a little tricky unless you know what you're kind of doing. Line number 3. How we get to line number 3 is you're actually using this line from number 2 to help us out. So I'm using this line where, LK was equal to MM. That's what I'm using. I'm using that line. But what I'm going to magically do to both sides is I'm going to add something to both sides. Okay? So I already know the property name. Because if I'm going to add something to both sides, what do you think the property name is called? Exactly. Additive prop of equality. I'm going to magically add something that's equal to both sides. Well, the thing I'm going to add to both sides is this stuff. I'm going to add KJ over here. I'm going to add MJ on this side. Now, why am I allowed to do that? The reason why I'm allowed to add things to both sides like that is because they are equal, so I can add them. And it's like an algebra problem where I can magically add 4s to both sides. As long as I'm adding the same number to both sides, you can do that by the additive property of equality. So I'm choosing to add this distance and that distance. Now, if you can see where I'm going here on this, is line number 4, I'm going to tell you what those pieces mean. Like, what does this make when I add LK plus KJ? Like on that picture. LK and KJ, say it again.
LJ.
I make LJ. That makes sense? I'm adding LK and KJ, and that makes the entire stick OJ. Now, what about this side? NM adds with the MJ, and so that's NM and MJ. What does that make when I add those two sticks together? NJ. And all I'm doing here is segment addition postulate. I'm adding segments together to make bigger segments. And if you're into the whole number system, I think postulate 2.9. Segment addition. Okay. That's usually how proofs work for geometry. They start with a given, redefine it, you come up with something, either angle addition or reflexive, and then you can do segment addition or angle addition, something like that. Line number 5. Now this is the goofy part. This is also one of those hard lines to figure out what to go from here. I'm actually using line number 3 to help me out. Okay? So I always define something, use it, define something, use it. All right, so on line number 5, right here, I'm actually going to take out LK plus KJ in this line. I'm taking that out, and what do these two things add up to be again? LJ. I'm going to plug that in. So LJ equals. Okay, so that was from line number 3. I'm taking out the parts that they're adding together and putting what that was, because we defined that in line number 4. That LK plus KJ, that was LJ. I'm just going to put that there. On the other side, what do these two things added up to be again? NJ. I'm going to plug that in. So what I'm doing here in line number 5 is I'm substituting. Doing substitution. Right, plugging the equal things back in. So many dots. All right, and now line number 6. If these things are equal, like LJ and NJ are equal, what else are they also known as? They're also congruent, which is what we're trying to prove. Dot, dot, dot. LJ is congruent to NJ. And that is the definition of congruent. Or if you check the book, you might say congruent segments. Same thing. Definition of congruent. Okay, questions, comments on page 147, number 1. Now, here's the weird part. There was 147, number 1. I did number 2 for you in class. That was the stuff we did Tuesday, right? When we did that PowerPoint, I did number 2 for you. The proof for number 2 is almost the exact same work. It's almost the exact same work as this one. There was only one difference in the line, where I think I had to do a reflexive property in the beginning, where I had to introduce a piece we were going to add to both sides. So I introduced X, Y, Z to itself. That was reflexive. But then it was the same work. I showed the things add, I substituted them out, and I ended with congruence. Thanks. So be careful with that number 2. You should check your notes. If you don't have them, you need to watch that video. Okay, let's jump to page 156 now. Okay, page 156 is a little bit different. You're not doing geometry proofs anymore. All we're doing is we're finding the values of missing angles. That's it. So in fact, I'm going to pick one of those problems so we can go through it. So the example we're going to do is from page 156. I'm going to do number 10. We're Turning to number 10 from page 156. All right, so here's how it works for number 10. The setup was they gave you a picture that looked like this. This is 2, this is 3, this is 4 and 5. In the instructions up above, it said like find the values of the missing angles. So I need to find the number for angle 2, find the number for angle 3, and so on and so forth. I believe there was a couple instructions above this picture, like right above it. It said something like angle 2 and angle 4 are supplementary. That'll be useful. Angles 4 and 5 are supplementary. And I believe the measure of angle 4 is 105 degrees. And that's what they said. Okay. The goal is to find all the rest of the angles. Okay, so what does it mean? In fact, let me plug that in. We already know the 4 is 105, so I'm going to plug that in right here. That's 105 degrees. Okay. What does it mean that things are supplementary? Add to make 180. So looking at this line number, this first line here, so that means angle 2 plus angle 4 have to add to make 180. That's what that means. This is actually theorem 2.3 or 2.6. They're called the supplementary theorems or the congruent supplement theorems, right? Those. They're the same theorem to me. So when you add, you're making 180. Well, we already know angle 4. It's 105, right? So what does angle number 2 have to be? 75? For that to work out. Does that make sense? Okay. That is the same thing that I can do for the next line. So on this next line, angle 4 plus angle 5 is equal to 180. And we already know angle 4 is 105. So what does 5 have to be? 75. All right. Easy enough. And again, same rules. Theorem 2, 3, 2, 6. And all we need to do next is common sense. What does angle number 3 have to be? 105. Now, why do we know that? What does this make? 180. That's called a linear pair. They're making a straight line, angle 2 and 3 put together. That theorem is theorem 213. 213 talks about linear pairs are supplementary. So, but the main theorem here that we basically use for most of it is just 2, 3, or 2, 6. They're called the supplement theorems. They're the same theorem to me. I don't know why they separate them. Okay. Make sense? Okay. The rest of today, you get time to work on this assignment. Page 141, 147, 156. Okay, it's due Monday, so that means you got to work on it. If you need to, go online and watch that video. Check your notes that we did Monday or Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, Wednesday we just introduced all those theorems. Does everyone have a practice test? Everyone got one? Okay, we're going to start reviewing that on Monday and Tuesday next week. We'll do those in class together. Okay, so that way we kind of know the test is Wednesday next week. So I want to make sure of that. No, you don't need to do anything with it. You can put it away. All right, now, as you guys are working, you can move around. No cell phones. You've already been pre-warned. I do not want to see a cell phone out. I'll be very upset if I see one. I'm going to start handing back some old assignments to you. I'm going to also say names of people who still owe me something. Like, oh, you owe me a worksheet. You owe me something. It'll be something very simple. So it's something you still have. You didn't do it. You need to finish it. You have 1 week from today to turn in any late work, things that you didn't have done. A week from today. The homework I'm handing back to you today, hold on to it. Double check online to make sure that I entered your score right, and maybe I entered the score. Maybe because I did make 1 or 2 mistakes. It happens every now and then. Came back to the assignments and I forgot to enter your score. So if you still have it, you can turn it back in and I can enter it for you. Okay. But the main part is, if you have late work, it's got to be done in a week. And if you're going to redo any assignment that you're going to make fixes on, it has to be due within a week. Make sense? All right. Go ahead and move around. I'm going to say some names of people who still owe me stuff, so don't be offended. This is just to let you know, like, you owe me something and maybe you weren't aware of it. Andrew, you owe me one worksheet 2.6.
That's the
the one that we had Thursday and so. Teeth, you still need the same things, plus another assignment. Cam, you'll need another assignment plus the first part of worksheet 2.6. Yeah, perfect. So you will need the first part. That was the part we did last Thursday. It was like the 12 questions.
Sorry, you need me to move.
We did it last week.
No,
We checked it.
I'll get it.
I'm actually leaving in
Meg's good. Jared, you owe me a few.
Job interviews.
Yeah, I know. It's actually
Jaden, you owe me a few.
Everybody was checked.
done one. Oh no.
Okay, there you go.
Mine's
So if I said your name, you owe me something. And you need to go check it out. Go online, check it.
This thing?
That thing. Good. And the other one that was attached to it. We had another one where it was,
I have to do this
when we did last Thursday, it was like 1 through 12. We checked them in class together.
And then that was the true false.
Yeah, it was
The thing that I got 44.
Mr. Ward, do I have
Yeah.
I will not
Do
write.
I owe you that?
Munson,
I did not understand what was going on.
yes, you owe me 139.
No.
Sorry, I must have skipped you. I didn't mean to.
I'd rather.
True or false, did you do the
I'll
promise?
skip it.
Alright, perfect. Now I'm going to hand back some old assignments.
So we already did 23. We done it. That's it all.
Again, remember, if I hand back the assignment to you, but it was missing online, hand it back in. Or if I entered your score wrong, you gotta let you know. I've never had that happen, but hopefully God I never do. Yeah, Bill will bring it on.
Look, she took off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought it
The
was.
first part was one that looks like this. If you have that.
I thought we had it. I thought that was like done.
Oh, I
Too confident in it. That's not the stuff you
I don't, yeah, some people like, they did it. Hey, there you go, put it in the basket,
This
make sure.
string it together and it like sends it.
That was just something like, we did it in class, you automatically get the
Fill it
point.
in. I was like, do you have eyebrows on it? Yeah, I know, this one has more in it than this one.
Sorry, this.
Yeah, I know, and then like right here.
Manager.
I know that. And then she's like, well, just fuck them. I got home, she's like, yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing, man.
20 out of 24, that's pretty good.
Manager.
I bet she got worse.
Oh, my words are so
So part of my lips like the Red Sea or something like that.
Still all group somewhere. We still have to do insurance.
That's wrong. Because the first day we were doing property. You can't make a pop.
All the groups. Why? I did good. Oh.
Most of them, like, yeah, the second basic, most of them are done. The first one you have to do.
I hate when people do that. When they ask my eyebrows and they I made goal.
Can you do mine?
Guard.
I'm not gonna be here until Thursday.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, we're doing the review, second part of the review.
Morning called. Why did I let her do that?
Oh my gosh, I wanted to rip it off, but he wouldn't let me.
Hey, bro. Sean.
And he built like a life-size arc of and I hate steaks. Let's say,
Shot?
What we're talking about today.
Hey, Brian. Looks like you're.
And then I just
Not, you have to read
like I actually just thought it was reduction. I'd rather do it. That's true. That's true. Then I'll just redo all the. It's a route.
Is that yours or not?
Yeah.
Skip this one. He's driving crazy.
You like it?
Yeah. And I remember. I just started my day out. I remember.
It looks so good at the start.
I got 10 out of 10 on that reading. That literacy. I got 80. Yeah, I know I got him wrong. I have to figure right here.
You actually think at the 41 lines going down? I don't know.
Usually, what happens, like the numbering system, like I'm checking mine, I'm checking yours, and I get off, and I'm mark, oh, that was right.
Hey, what's that called when I take Dia equals EG and then put 11 equals 2?
Right.
20 out of 20? I did too.
That one problem was, it was something like x squared equals 16 if x equals 4, or like something like that, right? The thing is, like, I understand, like, plus 4 is true. The problem is it was false because the negative 4 also worked. And so everyone's marking it true, and there's no like it's negative 3. So I just gave it to you, I understand. If you were trying to find a counterexample, there was another number that worked. And everyone's like, oh, it's true. Yeah, but that wasn't the point of the problem. So I just gave it as a freebie. It wasn't the right answer.
Did a lot of people put true?
Yeah. So that's why it's the end. It was good. Not gonna go. You know one that I marked? Yeah, well, everyone made the same mistake. It's not a false statement, but I understand why you put true because x squared equals 16 and x is 4. Yeah, I understand that is true, but the problem is like, you're trying to find another number. So like, almost, yeah, because, I mean, it is technically true. The whole point of the problem is to find another number that works.
EF is 11. The person got that right, someone did it wrong.
Yeah. So everyone like looks and I got read right there. I mean, it kind of, it was free because everyone made the same mistake. But I understand why it's free, but that was confusing.
That is 11.
Oh, but you actually don't, because that has nothing to do with it.
So what was right? 11. Who was that? I put balls.
We redo one, but
We weren't even lying.
the funny thing is the actual false rate is like everything else is slow. No, she likes it.
What are we trying to prove?
And then
So it's a little here you go.
Were these just on my desk?
Yeah. Oh, wait, did you just walk in over here and put those on?
Well, I walked and put them there.
Oh, sorry. I saw him sitting there like, oh, I must have handed these to the wrong desk. Don't worry. Remember, you got a week from today. If you have missing scores, check online. That's everything entered up to this moment.
so after that week, they're all going to zeros.
They go to zeros and then you don't fix them. You got 1 week. You've been forewarned.
Yeah.
So I'm behind her to maybe she stopped talking. And I watched for like 5 minutes. And I was like, just
We watched it 50 times last year.
Okay, hey, did everyone get a practice guide?
I'm sorry. They're really good. Yeah, well, she made potatoes.
Bryce and I ate them. And then she made Bryce a free turtle mocha.
Yeah, she's like, we have this turtle mocha if we want some. Like,
Pretty wrong.
Did I tell you about how it's the website now? You get notes?
ew, that is disgusting. You have to sit because I get them with
There we go. Oh, no, that's nothing. Yeah, Dalton's like, Jerry, you take such good notes. No, Patrick takes. Yeah. You still got, oh, yeah, I think you did send me the last one. I just needed that. What are you guys talking about today? How does it actually lab? On the surface, it's a copy. But it keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. No, I didn't. Marie, Marcy, Marie. Not I only couldn't hear it. The same word. Marcy, Marie. What's your daughter's name? Marcy. Hey, Marie. And then I didn't I don't know what to do. Cause I got one. That's good. Wait, how'd you get
That's like such a big time.
you like
2 to 6. That's not good.
how'd you get 8? Lord. Number 13 uses oranges. Do we have to
Give
specify?
me just the main prostitution. So if you're using one or two of them, just give them both. Main one.
We have to write out the whole thing. We just like write like the property.
If it asks you to write out the full proof, you have to do everything.
All it says is find a measure of each number table and name the zero to
Give me the numbers, give me the properties. Keep it simple.
She didn't believe me. This word I've not heard.
How do you get 20 here? What? You're trying to prove X is 10. Plug it in. And then you plug it in. You're going to plug in 10 there. You're going to plug in 2 times 10. Not yet. You just solve it. Add the 9 to this.
Bailey?
I bet if I opened an eye I probably got it from him when I ate his greens at that one turned at 6th grade. Just want to try this? Sure. If I can get puppies. We love it when you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, she'll have sweat.
Sweat's contagious.
Stop doing that. That's actually Texas.
25 good.
What were you doing this weekend?
Basketball.
Oh,
We have a scrimmage on Saturday.
Who do you guys play?
Geez. That, I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the schedule.
I bet you win.
When has to be.
Why aren't you doing So is Darby, she's I was kidding. I was kidding.
I was just going to say, you probably did him.
No! You can still hit him. He's wiping his sweat.
I wasn't wiping sweat on nobody. That's disgusting.
Wiping sweat on nobody. We're wiping sweat on nobody. I wasn't wiping sweat on nobody.
That doesn't make any sense. Shut up. I'm like all H&L. God, it's on your head. God.
In line.
I said 5, so you want to
When I feel like
honestly, it's ammo.
it's back to my
But mine was terrible.
What?
Give me 2.
I thought you were actually close on your face.
I need that. I need that. I'm so sweaty. Your pencil's all set. This. Oh, it's a live US. You get circles like that. I realized that that was sitting there. Maybe my good problem. I probably have the answer.
Like after I get sunburned, I don't like that. That's not a sun.
I'm surprised I know that is first.
When I do my double chin, there's one like right here like that. And now
Abby.
Really?
Right? Maybe more.
I thought it was like, yeah, look, right there.
I got say look, say look. Mine's right there.
Well,
Oh, no.
Wait, were the other classes like?
I don't even know Nick.
Naughty two. Was it
Naughty
just our
two?
class? Oh.
Your class and the class after.
Who, oh, is that?
That's is that
That's
pretty
right
out?
now?
That's pretty dope.
They should have had no excuse to be on their phones. Their homework is way more challenging.
maybe they're,
Wait,
Well,
so we
I
have
guess
an
it's just
excuse?
the end of the day, you know?